I am just a lad from Yorkshire who got to live out his dream of playing rugby league. As the father of 3 young children, I would never want any family to have to go through what my family and children have since my diagnosis. I hope I have left a mark on the disease I hope it shows to live in the moment. I hope you find inspiration from the whole story. My final message to you is whatever your personal battle, be brave and face it. Every single day is precious. Don't waste a moment. In a world full of adversity, we must still dare to dream. Row, over and out.
That looks like wrong. I moved the cat because it kept falling off.
Ah,
So we got a cat on there.
I remember to turn it off.
Well, that's good. That's good. Welcome to
Just when you thought you couldn't get any more, I was going to say tat on the table.
Tat, yeah. It's our brand now. If people want, rugby league administrators, they go elsewhere. If they want
Tat.
they come here. How are you, James?
Send
James
us your tat.
Send us some tat.
Yeah.
That's what I give away on the radio. We'll send you some tat in the post and key rings or
Yeah, good,
pens.
thanks.
Like Scott Mikalowskis, who's made his comeback,
Yes, he has. He's back in Super League this week.
which is good.
Looks like a thriller of a game.
Where's he at?
Warrington against Salford.
It could be worse. It could have been Wakefield Huddersfield.
No, it's good to see. Good to see him back in Super League.
Welcome to 4020 Live. We're back. It's Tuesday. We're all discombobulated. My voice is going, which is not good. What's the news this week? Apart from, we should say, that try from Canberra. That was...
Oh.
That was ridiculous.
Is that the one back inside, or is it?
No, that's the one where Penrith go for a drop goal and
Oh,
Golden Point
yeah, there's
extra
been
time,
some-
it comes back off the post.
Yeah, there's been
Canberra
some
go
incredible
100
tries.
metres and win the game.
It's...
Which has gone viral again beyond rugby league because people are just going, have you seen this?
Wide to West meets the Jack Wellesby try from the grand final.
Yeah.
If the BBC, or if the NRL rather, had a deal with the BBC, like baseball and the NFL and everyone else's, that would be all over the place now, but we don't. So
And Ethan
that's our
Strange,
fault. Is he English?
yeah.
And is it his sister then, who's also...
Yeah.
I don't know any of the players in the NRL, just
But
the
there's been-
green team.
But not just that. There was a try. Was it this weekend where
With the guy with the long name,
the
yeah.
back
West,
Yeah,
yeah.
that was an incredible pass back inside, and then I saw some. Was it today? A sort of a length of the field try, passing between hands and all sorts. I don't know if that was from this weekend. Gone.
Brisbane did one the week before where it went through multiple pairs of
Just
hands
insane.
and then a kick at the end. And it's like, this is what we can provide.
Yeah. Content. Have you heard the commentary of the... Because Andrew Voss's commentary was brilliant.
Right.
Because he's the only person who, I keep saying this, can be Andrew Voss. People copy him, but they're not him. But have you heard the commentary in French of it?
Yes, I watched that today.
Which also I've got no idea what's going on. But
you
it's
don't need to.
It's just French.
It's absolutely brilliant. If you've not seen the
No,
French
I'll have to
version,
look for that.
it's really, really good.
It's like the commentary by Andrew Voss, but in French, one assumes.
Screaming incroyable.
Essay, probably. But they had to check it with the bunker, so that was the good thing. But they gave it, so... Isn't Strange injured now, though? Someone's injured.
I'm not sure.
I don't know.
But
Someone from Canberra's injured.
Kevin Walters was on a media call yesterday when he was asked about whether Strange is now going to be picked by Australia so that England can't have him.
Was that answer embargoed, or can you answer that?
That's not to say that England would pick him anyway.
No.
But no, I think he said they've got in mind some players, but obviously the playoffs are the canvas by which they can press their claims.
Did Kevin reveal anything exciting?
He's coaching the Australians. He's bringing them over. There's going to be 22 players.
Are they going to have squad numbers in
and some
alphabetical order?
support staff
Some support staff. Who might be here or might not be.
who might be either Willie Peters or Brad Arthur. I'm assuming that they don't want to go back to Australia.
So that's a good idea. Just, give them a few quid. They don't have to fly them over.
Well,
so they're
I think
already
it's
here.
more they might have an insight into the opposition.
And it's cheap because you don't have to fly them over.
Yeah.
They're already here. Yeah. They don't have to stay in the hotel. They can stay at home.
So no, he didn't reveal anything we didn't know other than how much he was looking forward to the return of the Ashes, and I think that's the main thing. That yes, we'd love a tour. He was part of tours that played midweek games, and the one thing he did say, which I don't know if it's been reported yet, was that they were planning on having some warm-ups with the French in London. because they're not playing them in a test arena. But France have got a game against Jamaica that's a World Cup qualifier. So I think they're going to invite France over on the Monday of the Wembley Test to do an opposed session.
Why don't they just play a test match?
Well, they wanted to play a test in Paris the week before, but the RLPA in Australia wouldn't sanction it.
But a opposed training session, that's a different thing.
Well, I think it works for both, doesn't it? There's no risk of injury as the French build up to a very important game for them, and the Aussies then get acclimatised to flying in and getting some of their cobwebs off and being a little bit more. They would have wanted a warm up game before they played England at Wembley, and if they can't do that, then an opposed session against the French, who again will play in a similar style to the way an English team is going to play, is probably really, really good for both.
And we've all seen Everton Stadium now, so that looks exciting. And we need to sell out Wembley because the week after, I didn't realise this, famous British rugby union team, the Springboks, are playing other famous British rugby union team, the Japanese, at Wembley. So
for any particular reason, no.
Money.
Oh,
so because it is, congratulations, 30 years today that the International Rugby Board allowed players to be paid, or even
players to be paid.
Yeah, something like that. And HMRC got their cut, so it's nice of them, wasn't it?
Paid legally.
Yeah, and not like the hypocrites they were.
The cloak of secrecy came down.
The cone of silence was back. Gordon Tallis is now part of the Aussie coaching team, says Phil. Is that embargoed, or do we know that now?
It was embargoed yesterday.
But it's official now.
Well, I don't know if it's
not
official yet, because it hadn't officially come from Australia. So everybody was asked to just hold that piece of news.
Phil, you've broken the embargo.
I didn't.
Not you. No, Phil on the chat.
Unless it's been broken.
Don't break embargoes. I mean, enough trouble as it is. Just wait till we get to later points in the programme. Then we'll really be in trouble. Has anything else happened, usually? It's been a quiet week because it's been a bank holiday. The
big story is a wheelchair story. I mean, I say big. It's certainly big in here because we're big fans of the wheelchair. And I think, again, it's mired with the fact that there are people within the wheelchair game that inadvertently are holding it back because there are personal reasons why things are not happening. And it's a shame because you know I understand it from both sides. I don't know why there wasn't a little bit more trying to get people around the table. I understand time is difficult because now the Super League season is in a block that starts in June, so if you do have a fixture that can't be played, even if it's highlighted earlier in the year, there aren't that many opportunities still to play it. You would say Halifax and Leeds is not a million miles away, so midweek is always a possibility. You know, I get it's down sometimes to hiring the facilities and having them available, but we're in the summer holidays and there isn't the same sort of demand. It just seems a shame. I get that there needed to be a resolution of who won the League Leaders' Shield. It's a prestigious thing, and if Halifax have won it because Leeds have defaulted on a game because Leeds felt that a wedding came ahead of a match, I have no problem with that. If Leeds get docked a point, makes very little difference. It's discretionary whether you then take them out of the playoffs, and because they are defending champions, and because we only do have, like the women's game, 4 top level wheelchair teams, to take one of them out and put them in the Shield where they're playing 2 teams that have just started on the road to Super League, it doesn't seem to work for anybody.
Forgive my ignorance.
Well, you are the voice of the listener here.
Yeah, so was it a league game?
Yes.
That they missed?
It was a scheduled league game that happened to be on the same weekend as one of their players was getting married.
I knew there was a wedding.
And it was highlighted, apparently, when the fixtures came out, that this was going to be an issue in terms of the clash. I think what was offered was either the night before or the day after, and I think, again, with it being a wedding, it was felt that like that weekend was the one that they were sort of blocking out. But there was an alternative offered, which meant that Leeds then accepted that they were the defaulting team. 24-0, absolutely fine, that's what it says in the rule book. Leeds docked a point, doesn't really make a lot of difference at this stage in the season. But it's the decision then to go with what what is a discretionary
Yeah,
decision.
I'm not sure why would you take them out of the playoffs because they defaulted on one game.
Because it says you can do that if you
can
want
do it.
in the rules.
But the
And
ridiculous
it's
thing
making
is,
a point, isn't it? That's what I was saying about, sometimes it's more about making a point than what works best.
But
for the
look,
competition.
equally, it's an amateur competition, isn't it? No one's getting paid. Weddings, rightly or wrongly, should come and probably did come and booked before the fixtures were released. And,
well, this is the thing. If
you know.
if everything was known about months ago, which is what we're told, we only know what we're told. So then why couldn't a solution have been found months ago and not left until the last minute?
Even
That
if
is
you,
rugby league.
but even if you accept that game can't be played for whatever reason, and it's not going to get rearranged, the punishment that fits the crime and fits the sport is that the defending champions get the chance to defend from a lower league position. Because again, to the outside world, it makes no difference. We may well be forcing home a point of principle here, and there may be more behind it in terms of the personalities that are involved, that an example has been wanted to be made, but it doesn't read well to the outside world when the defending champions are not allowed to defend their trophy.
And what's the RFL position? What's the statement that was released?
They have invoked that, but they don't have to explain it. I think the other thing is it puts Hull into the top four, which, even though the points go back to zero for this round of 3 games to determine who gets the grand final, they're a bit disconcerted.
Which is definitely a late decision, because in the paper it says they carry over.
It is a late decision, because if they carried over, Hull couldn't have won it anyway, because they had 0 points. So they would not have caught with 3 games, either London or Halifax. So the fact is, you're putting a team in that can't win a competition, which makes no sense. So it's gone back to 0. But Hull are saying they're also in that process of moving from where they were to becoming a better team. They would have liked to have played in what is the plate, which is the bottom 3 teams, because the likelihood is they would have won it. And to win a trophy is really important, just for your development. And Sheffield and Edinburgh have done really well this season anyway as new teams. They didn't expect to win it. But when they're, Hull are now saying, we've got to play London, Wigan and Halifax, who we've already played, and we know we're not quite at their level yet, but Leeds are going to play Sheffield and Edinburgh, and Leeds are saying, we get your punishment, but it doesn't quite fit the crime, because you're making us play 2 teams that don't really want to play us in a competition that is now devalued by us being in it. It's sort of everybody's a loser in all of this.
It seems wholly unsatisfactory,
including the game of wheelchair rugby league.
It's rugby league.
Everything
is rugby league, and it's just it could have been prevented. This is the thing; it's one of those things that could have been prevented.
We didn't have Catalans in the Challenge Cup to defend their cup, because that was politics as to the French Federation deciding that they weren't going to play England. We've got an end of season international whereby England are going to Australia, but we've really got nothing here, and it's almost as if the impact of winning a World Cup 3 years ago is starting to be dissipated a little bit, whereas this should have been the element that rolled the sport out nationwide.
Politics.
Here's Kat, who is a person who actually pays their own money to watch wheelchair rugby league. So as opposed to there's another Kat, maybe that's a representation on the table. As opposed to us who just turn up and get free sandwiches, but a person who actually pays money to go watch wheelchair rugby league. There are some people
whose opinion is more valuable than ours.
Frustrated with wheelchair rugby league at the moment, with the games on Manchester not having been officially announced. There are 3 rounds of fixtures in the playoffs. Manchester's National Basketball Centre, where the grand final will be held on September 28th. That's this weekend, Saturday. I can't go. I've got to go watch Wakefield Huddersfield. If my nephew wasn't going on the pitch, I wouldn't go. The University of Nottingham on September the 6th. That's an interesting, different place. And the Allen Sports Centre in Hull on September 13th. Now, what I would like is someone to announce broadcasting for those, because, and this goes to the Women's Super League as well.
The Shield games as well. So the double headers with the Shield and the playoffs.
So 3 games. So, Women's Super League, Men's Super League, Wheelchair Super League. They've all got Super League in the title, but only one of them is. Because we've got this mess here which can be avoided, but if I want to follow the Wheelchair Super League, where do I see the highlights? If I want to watch Women's Super League, where do I watch the highlights? There's one club, one match this weekend, the highlights were got up on YouTube today, so again it's 2 or 3 days later. And I know, but still. no commentary, camera works shaky. It's not super. What are we doing? But that's
and yet we have got our league, which apparently is where we need extra content.
I did say on Twitter last week, and I shouldn't put myself out like this and say, I'll do this, but if you want your videos, a voiceover for them, give me a script, I'll do them, that's fine. Just totally, no one's going to sit there for 5-10 minutes and watch a video with no sound.
But the other thing
with no context.
Both the women's and the wheelchair is that their grand finals are going to end up on a television channel. But there's no context because you can't see the highlights. So we know who to look out for, and perhaps who some of the players are that are really making a name for themselves this season. But you're almost like giving the world a game, and that doesn't work.
The one thing, because there's some other rugby going on at the minute, it's all over the BBC. In one of my roles on local radio, which is still going.
What, local radio? Or you're rolling it?
Well, yeah, both of them for the time being. And this used to be, because it's our birthday today, this is the 4020 birthday, because we moved here after the 2018 Challenge Cup final. But we used to be at Radio Yorkshire. And the thing that Radio Yorkshire did more than any radio station I've ever been at, and you'll notice this if you listened, which you probably didn't, was the amount of interviews with celebrities promoting any old tat. Oh, we had Tess Daly talking about dancing dogs at Crufts, which is on my own personal YouTube channel because it's just ridiculous that I'm interviewing Tess Daly about dogs. People talking about bread, gluten-free. What do you think about gluten-free bread? Well, because they're being paid by someone. And I had an interview on my programme on Saturday, not done by me, done by a PR company, with Ellie Kildon, who's the rugby union star of the England team. She's got hair and everything. Talking about drinking beer and watching rugby union in pubs. Come to the pub and watch women's rugby union. So that's PR companies getting people in to do interviews to be played out on local radio stations. Are we going to do anything like that ahead of the Ashes? Are we going to do any? We've got a load of sponsors for the England team. I don't know what we're going to... Is Jack Wellsby telling you how to creosote your friends or something? I don't know. But if we've got so many sponsors, this is the kind of content that it doesn't take long for them to do an interview with someone. Then it gets distributed to all these people.
I think we will with the England team. My concern is that we won't with the women in the wheelchair.
I do try to get people on this programme.
It shouldn't be difficult, should it?
But it is. But there you go. Phil says, didn't he announce the wedding 3 years ago? Plenty of time to rearrange the fixture. I don't know. There's a lot of build-up, isn't it? But it's done now. And, we should say, congratulations, Halifax, winning the League Leader Shield. Hopefully they get medals, because one of the things I've moaned about on this programme is Leeds didn't get medals winning the League Leader Shield the last couple of years. And they can now go for the treble.
2 of the 3 trophies, which is laudable. They're clearly the best team in wheelchair at the moment.
They will be the favourites to win it all.
It leaves an unnecessarily nasty taste in the mouth.
And I'm sure if you're Halifax, you want to win it in the right way, don't you?
Well, you want to beat everyone to say we're the champions.
Yeah.
We won't make a crisis out of a drama. Oh no, we will. We're not commercial union. There's one for the teenagers. Has anything else happened news-wise this week?
I'm trying to think.
Apart from the return of Scott Michalowskis, I can't speak this week, and Wheelchair Rugby League. Has anyone been banned for anything? No one was. People still not getting sent off for hitting people in the head with their shoulders. Why are people getting sent off for hitting people in the head with their shoulders, James?
Did he get charged for that? I didn't see that.
Who, Miller?
Yeah. No, I didn't think he would. I think for me...
That was a brave captain's challenge.
Yeah, I thought it was. I thought the contact was incidental to the contest because he's competing for the ball.
His eyes are never off looking for the ball.
It's an accidental contact. So for me, it should have been a penalty because ultimately he makes contact in the head in the same way that when a player slips and you catch him in the head, it's still a penalty and nothing more. For me, it should have just been a penalty. So,
it was just play on. But
yeah.
I'm just trying to think if there's any other news.
It's been a quiet week, hasn't it?
Well, the trouble is with it being a bank holiday. I've forgotten what day it is again.
Oh, I did it on the radio earlier, and it says in front of me, it's Tuesday, and I said, it's Wednesday. So it's not Wednesday. Not having a good day. And my ear's not working, and my shoulder's not working.
If we had a bank holiday this weekend...
Why was there no games on Monday?
I was thinking that, I must admit, yesterday. And I turned the radio on, I think, and I thought, there's no game on. But yet we've got 2 games at the same time on Sunday.
And the other thing...
Neither of which were watchable.
No other sport really had anything yesterday, did they?
No.
There was no
The football was on later.
Premier League football on
The 100's going on, but that's not sport. So
I must admit, right, so I'm not a cricket fan and I don't really watch the 100, but the other week there was a game on, I think it was whatever the Welsh team is, against the London team.
Oh, it could have been it's London Spirit, which sounds like they're a
Could have been that.
Yeah.
And I must admit, the signal was terrible on the campsite they were on, but I was glued to it. I really was, genuinely was. I thought this was really...
You're the audience for the 100
I thought it was great.
But the great thing is, we've just done an interview for the next magazine with Joe Steele, who is the marketing and communications director of Rugby League Commercial, and he's come from the 100. Mm-hmm. And a lot of the things he talks about what he was tasked to do, it's like exactly what we need to be doing, which is capturing someone like you who wouldn't otherwise have been a cricket follower.
I mean, Stephen was like, turn this rubbish off, but just because it was a ball on the TV. But I genuinely thought it was good entertainment. I didn't think they were going to quite win. I can't remember who was. I think London won that game. No, I didn't. But there was was it Bairstow?
Yes.
Yeah, because he plays for Wales, despite the fact he's Yorkshire.
Just incredible, knocking the sixers out of the ground. It was, and they were chasing them down. It was. I thought it was really good, and I thought, oh yeah, I could see myself going along. Sorry,
Jenna was on it.
Was she?
Yeah, she was doing the interviews.
Oh, I didn't miss.
Oh, she has been doing on the 100.
Right.
I got some free tickets a couple of years ago, and me and my nephew went, and we enjoyed it. It's good entertainment. I don't understand. I don't know who's going to win it. I don't care. I don't know who's going to win it. Who won it last year? I know I got excited when the Northern Superchargers women won with the last ball. Like, yeah, I was like, I'm excited.
But isn't this goes back to the club-led strategic review?
The what?
Where we've decided that we're not going to have Magic Weekend in its current format because we've accidentally decided that we don't want loot fixtures anymore. And the unintended consequence of that is we now have an event penciled in that we don't know what it should be because it doesn't fit now whatever the fixtures.
Even though you can have the event and it not be a loop,
yeah,
but no one's thought of that because they haven't explained why they haven't considered it.
Well, because not enough clubs would want to give up a home game for a year.
No, but
they're happy. They're happy to go to Vegas
or Paris or Dewsbury. Yeah.
So I do think at this stage you're not going to get them to count it as a home game, and then wait a year for the away team to get their remuneration. But we're trying to think of something. Again, talking to Joe about it, that somebody didn't sit in a room and go, "We'll have the 100 tomorrow." It's like there was a plan that said, "This is the event that we want, and we want this event because we want to attract this audience, which is mainly women." Because we think that there's no offering for women to buy into cricket at the moment. We want something for kids that's finished relatively quickly.
Sponsored by Crisps.
And we want a more diverse fan base because we're still a bit white and middle class.
And visually, it just looks different, sounds different.
And it's on for a limited period of time, and you get to know it for however long it's on for. Yeah. You get excited a couple of times a week. Some of it's on free-to-air television, which is
I think that's what I was watching, I think.
And it sort of works because they were developing something because it had, dare we say, a strategy behind it. So we've now got rid of...
And now there's money.
Or we're potentially getting rid of a weekend that enough people go to make it slightly lucrative, but the broadcaster particularly likes because it's the cheapest weekend for them setting up with all their camera positions. And we're going, well, we haven't decided what we're doing, even though we did say we were going to do it, and we don't know what we're having there, and we don't know what formats. And it's like, you've got it.
We need to get the Pune Warriors to invest. All these IPL teams have invested in the 100. Now I know it's the same thing, but they've also invested in Morecambe FC. So if we can get the Pune Warriors to invest in Salford, Wakefield Trinity, someone, I don't know. Well, let's use Magic Weekend then. Right, here's what we're going to do. Here's another one of those great ideas I've just come up with that I've stolen. So
it doesn't work as a Challenge Cup round because you don't know in advance who the teams are going to be. So
patience.
No, I'm just saying. I've seen written on numerous occasions we need to make it the quarterfinals of the Challenge Cup because it'll make it more exciting. Not if your team's not playing, it doesn't. You won't go.
Like all the ideas, I should have a metaphorical cigarette packet in front of me to jot this down. So in 1955, ITV, looking for things to fill up TV with, came up with the Associated Rediffusion Television Trophy, in which 8 random teams played in. One of which was Wakefield, but Warrington won it, and you can see the trophy at the Holywell Jones Stadium. That's for our Warrington fans who are listening.
What Warrington fans and the word trophy?
Yeah, they're going to turn off in a minute when we talk about their playing.
There's nothing to say.
But apparently, it was decided who won it by the amount of points you scored in a game against somebody else. So Wakefield didn't win it because Warrington scored more points in their game against whoever. So
I'm lost.
I'm lost.
right. So how many teams we got in Super League?
How many?
Oh, we got 14, haven't we?
Yeah.
So we
well,
draw.
not yet.
We might. Right. As long as we haven't got 13 teams or 11, we draw all the teams out of a hat, and whoever scores the most points in their game against their opponent wins a trophy.
Oh, ridiculous.
Yeah, but if I put it on a PowerPoint, then it might get discussed by the strategic review, especially if I spell words wrong and
Yeah,
stuff.
probably. I think the idea I'd heard was last 16 of the Challenge Cup. So that would be 8 fixtures, so 4 fixtures per day. So you have more. So if you go last 16, then you're going to have all your 14 Super League teams plus 2 from the Championship, aren't you? So,
4 games are too many.
Yeah, I probably agree, but...
And that's the assumption there, is that even though we've given Super League teams away fixtures the round before they've won them all.
And
which again, where's the romance in that?
Well, they're going to be seeded, I think, aren't they? So you'd have all the Super League teams away.
Which didn't help Castleford last year.
No. But then,
this
if you go Challenge Cup, it's a BBC product.
Yeah.
And it's always been a Sky product.
Yeah.
And the money comes from
No one's thought
Sky.
about that bit, had they?
You know, so where there's
I
no
don't
money
know
coming
about
for Magic if it's a Challenge Cup last 16. And then you go 9s, and we've tried 9s before and it not worked.
But there's no point having 9s unless it leads to something. So if there's a World Cup of 9s somewhere down the line,
well,
great, have 9s. But if it's
Well, we've
just
had
a
one of them,
9s
innit?
tournament for the sake of having a 9s tournament, players are not
but
going to be released.
the 100 doesn't lead anywhere. So then you need to have the made up teams full of all-star 9s. But they wouldn't do that.
You
so.
basically need money. You need to throw money at it.
And we need money.
Because if you don't, players won't play. That's my view. And then
And
we've had a
coaches
9s...
won't pick players.
No, well, of course they won't. No.
Because if Bevan French pulls his hamstring again in a 9s tournament that doesn't ultimately mean anything, and we've seen the impact that he's had coming back this weekend, then Matt Pete isn't going to
Exactly.
play.
It won't get the buy-in for it. So that's why
And
it
if
won't
they're
work.
not, if the stars aren't playing, and one of the things we're supposed to be doing is creating stars, who's going to go? And why would Sky film
I
it?
just don't think there's the appetite from the public to see it anyway.
But don't you think, even though the strategic working group wasn't set up until the coup had taken place, that you wouldn't announce what you were doing until all the component elements were in place?
Well, they're making it up as they go along, let's be honest.
Which is not a great look. It's not
terrible
sellable
look.
either.
Terrible look. They're making it up as they go along.
Which is what I did just then, and you dismissed me. Is that why they got rid of it? Because that's what you'd have done. So that's rubbish.
You'd have made a presentation on that. Yeah. Wigan would have abstained and we'd have said no.
Yeah.
Well, you know, agenda's not being delivered or whatever they're supposed to be doing, and minutes of shambles is what I'm hearing.
And presentations of what it's all aimed to be don't have any research behind them. It's just,
No data.
It's just bullet points
No
saying,
research.
we'd like to do this. Well, we've been liking to do that since 1970.
It's like a 5-year-old's letter to Santa.
Yes, we would
You know,
like to.
I would
less
like to
thought
have.
into
It's
it.
like the
Loads of
Argos
money.
catalogue. Pass me the Argos catalogue and put rings around
little
or
ones.
everything that I want. Yeah. It's, you know, I don't know.
That's not strategy, though, is it?
No, well, it's just a lack of detail. Just make it up as you go along.
And that is the worry, that we're headlong going into a new season. I went to Hunslet on Sunday to watch Hunslet and Batley, and I'll go anywhere to watch a game of rugby league, and if it's a game that are between two teams who are relatively well matched, and Batley got stronger as the game went on, but the first 20 minutes there was nothing in it, great. But there were too many people I was sat round at the game going, what's the point?
Well, no one. Well, people still don't know what. I mean,
No. But
the assumption is there is now no playoffs.
3
but-
weeks out, 3 weeks out from the end of the season, and the fans sitting in the stadium don't know what. Other than the fact that it's their team and they want to support them, they want them to win.
Yeah, of course.
They don't know what they're watching.
And then you League One clubs are trying to plan for next season. Championship clubs are, and then they're like, well, what?
Keithley are getting rid
what
of
we doing?
staff,
Yeah.
because they don't know what costs they'll have next year and what distribution they'll be getting.
But you're having to sign players now and
Yeah, well,
renew
some of them are already
contracts,
signed.
and yeah, there will be. But on what basis? I mean, it's absolute just make it up as you
And
go
until
along.
you decide the teams that are going to be in Super League, you don't really know what teams are going to be left to be in a meaningful championship.
And we're not going to find out till what back
20
end of
26th
October.
No, it's the 18th of October. It's 5 days after the grand final or something.
I love them to call it next
16.
season the Betfred Meaningful Championship.
And then I understand the season's going to start slightly earlier because it's a World
End
Cup
of
year.
January.
So, you know.
So all the testimonials are going to be played at the beginning of January, where they'll all be.
You're 3 months
snowed
out from the start of the season announcing what the competition looks like. Who's in it?
and the recruitment.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, you've got to. I don't understand this. You've got to register your interest this week to be included in the 13th and 14th shake-up, but you won't know until the week before whether you've actually qualified anyway by virtue of finishing in the top 12. By the same token, a team that thinks it's in the top 12 but
Should
isn't
register
going
their
to
interest.
might have to register their interest.
Is there a live grading thing going on?
No.
Because
Because theoretically, no.
No, because there is rumour and scuttlebutt and all that at least one. Well, we know Salford probably won't make the 12.
Not a chance.
Well, the only way
But they
Salford
could.
would make it is if the bridging loan arrived, everybody was paid. So yeah, they're not going to. So they're not going to make it.
It's like the
Sorry-
story on the BBC
sorry,
website
Phil.
today about the mayor saying, "Oh yeah, they said they're going to play out the season." Yeah, they told us about this bloody bridging loan. We don't believe any
They
of it.
will play out the season, but that won't have anything to do with.
Apart
the
from
people
last
that own
week
the club.
when they couldn't be bothered. Yeah.
Well, again,
Yeah, player welfare. And I hope they do break the London Scholars record of 72 players in a season, because that's all we've got now. That is
I would
all
think
we've
it's
got.
achievable.
It's definitely achievable.
they only need another 4, don't
Yeah,
they?
it's definitely. Imagine how disappointing Phil's going to be if they don't win that.
It's
Leeds
like-
are currently top of the
yeah.
Egg Power rankings. Still for the top of the using players ever.
It's like when they were voting for Super League's biggest villain or Rugby League's biggest villain, and I was up against Marwan Kukash and Danny Maguire and Danny Brough,
Did you win?
and I came second.
Oh,
that's
disappointing.
like
disappointing.
if you go,
That's
if
a title you'd
you
want.
want to win it, don't you?
Who
And I-
won?
and I-
Second
well,
to who, though?
I called Marwan Kukash because he was. I said you're a cheat because what you're doing is you're canvassing for votes on Twitter, and I'm not on Twitter.
Yeah.
And he was canvassing for the votes, so and I couldn't.
And where is he now?
Well,
He's not on a podcast, is
he lost quite a bit of money as well. Actually,
Eating biscuits that somebody's already tried.
Liverpool RLFC. Cumbrian Lakers.
The
so the rumour is Bradford are going to be in the top 12
well,
on the IMG score,
the
isn't it?
interesting thing, and again, you can believe whatever you want to believe because we don't know what the
Yeah.
current IMG ratings are, and I'm not sure that anybody does. I think they have an
Does IMG?
well, no, I think the clubs have an indication of where they are, but what they don't know is where everybody else is.
Correct.
So Bradford may well think, well, we've gone up from 13.5 to 13 3/4. If we win the grand final, that's 14. We think we'll be in, but they don't know what Toulouse are doing. They don't know what York are doing. So I think everybody has an idea. You can feed in your data and get a rough indicator back. But let's assume that. I mean, should Huddersfield register for this 13th and 14th?
Where are they playing? Is Featherstone's stand being closed a carefully planned ploy because that reduces the amount of capacity? But if your attendance to stay the same, then your usage goes up.
Well, I just think it's such a flawed process to do it this way and at such short notice without actually teams being given a criteria to match in 2026 to being in 2027, and everybody knows where they stand. Let's assume we lose Salford. You've got 3 championship clubs coming up then, of which 4 already have declared an interest, 5 if you include Oldham. I don't know how those decisions are going to be made because they're going to be made apparently on finance. Well, there was a decision made to keep Salford in this year on finance.
That's the
and it didn't arrive.
Exactly, and that's the point that I would have made based on what Carl Fitzpatrick was saying the other week, was that their concern is around finances for the teams that come up. But what about the finances of the existing clubs?
Well, and also
We've just had an existing club rated through IMG that's not in a good financial position.
Is that they need to guarantee their finances, but we're not going to give you the same central distribution. Well, you want it both ways. You don't want to give them the money to compete, but they've got to guarantee.
But who's guaranteeing the finances of the existing 12? There's no guarantee that those existing 12 will survive. Pretty much every Super League club, every Rugby League club is probably losing money.
Yeah.
So somebody's got to give a guarantee to back it. Otherwise, you make sure the 3 that are coming up, which is I'm expecting it to be 3, are all backed.
3?
But then one of those 12 or the 11 that's left falls away next season.
Which 3 then? Out of 4.
Bradford,
York,
I think are
Toulouse and London.
Bradford and York, I think, are the easiest picks, in my opinion. and then you've got London and Toulouse. I cannot see a world in which Toulouse get in.
I'm told Toulouse are prepared to take no central distribution to be in,
As are Oldham.
which is again a sop to the other owners by saying they're,
You can have a few
they're
more
prepared
quid,
to give.
I'm not sure that
a
any of the
small
clubs are going to
percentage.
get anything, are they?
Yeah, I think all the existing clubs are going to give. I think it's 5%.
God, that's very
Okay.
generous of them, isn't it?
To allow the two clubs to get something like 500,000 or 600,000 each, whereas Toulouse have said, "We'll pay all the expenses. We don't want anything. Can we join your party?" So, which is hardly a strategic decision on a new market, is it?
What was the criteria they're judging? Finance? Can you remember?
Finance.
Whether you're our mates. Oh, sorry, no, that's ours.
Extra finance.
Whether you're
additional
playing red, amber, and black.
Away fans.
Yeah,
Away
finance
fans.
and
Away
finance.
fans.
Whether your pitch is below minimum standards.
No, that you can get away
Yeah,
with.
See,
that's
if
acceptable.
Bradford are in the 12, like, there's no issues. Because
No.
that's what we're going with. So
Yeah.
that's the thing.
Yeah.
If they're not in the 12, then we've got issues. Because everyone sees it's
I
not transparent.
think Bradford feel that they're in the 12.
Yeah, for sure. They'll be in the 12.
Which again takes a little bit of the pressure off the decision makers because there's the vested interest suddenly is not part of
The
it.
amount of people who had some connection to Bradford that are on this panel.
But I wouldn't want to be picking between York, Toulouse, and London because I think again
And I'd put Oldham in there.
I'm
Well,
not. I genuinely don't think Oldham are ready. I don't think Oldham think they're ready. They've got some.
It's not what I'm hearing, that they're offering to basically
Oh
do
no,
it for
they've
nothing.
got some great plans for
Yes.
the club, but I'm not sure that everything they need to be a Super League club is in place.
But you remember how isn't the whole grading process is supposed to be we can increase if there are enough clubs who are.
Yeah.
So we could have 16. Just
Yeah,
because
we can have what we
just
want.
have 16 now.
But
20?
Yeah.
That was one of the numbers
So
mentioned on the
let's just
PowerPoint.
have them all
Two,
in.
uh,
Let's have them all in.
2 conferences of 10. That's what we want.
South
ultimately.
Wales Scorpions, you're in, lads. Good luck.
But I can't work out. Let's say take London as a case study. I suspect that there are backers in Australia who will come in straight away if they're in Super League. I think there are players that they can count on that will make them more competitive on the field than they've been this year because of the link up that they can do in Australia with 1 or 2 NRL clubs who will genuinely want their young talented players to come and experience life on the other side of the world and are good enough for them to say, look, if you spend a couple of years in London and you make it, you're back. And I think that's an equitable way of doing it. But how can London go into a meeting
Yeah, you can't
and
say, well, if you let us in, we'll
if you
get
let
all
us
these
in, we'll
players
do this,
Yeah,
and if you don't, we've got that. It's like, as a sport, what do we want?
Why don't they call them London Dons? If they're going to play at Wimbledon, why do they call them London Dons?
Well, and have them all wearing caps and gowns.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't see London being in it without all those things that you've just said.
But if
which
they go
I
to-
expect them to be in it, by the way.
But if they
So-
go to the panel and say we can get all these things,
then they've got to have a backer, haven't they? It's got to be signed up.
which I think is there, but
Yeah. And I don't
is
see-
understandably stepping back, going,
Yeah.
we're not really sure what's happening, but you tell us what's happening, and this is what we can offer.
I just don't see how Gareth Everton goes to London,
And they don't get in.
who's best mates with Nigel, and they don't get in.
So when
Call
have,
me a cynic.
when have I got to get my application in for Pyongyang? When we're going to
This
play?
week.
We're going to play
You've
Manchester.
you've got your expression of interest has to be in this week.
What?
But it's will Castleford put in an expression of interest just in case they're dropped to a B rate? You know, who is going to put one in and who isn't?
Spent the whole
And
weekend.
if,
trying
let's
to-
just say if Huddersfield don't, but they need to, do they then get disqualified? Because
like
they
Leeds from
didn't-
the Rugby League wheelchair
They're
playoffs.
not going to be. They're not going to be. I can't remember. I'd have to look at the scores again.
They were pretty. They were
Were
a
they?
grade B club,
Were they?
and they're going to lose some points because again of stadium usage, which is one of the reasons why they want to
Playing Halifax.
play in Halifax.
Or Dewsbury.
So it's not beyond the realms of possibility that I mean they may have done little things that will enhance their
They've
score.
got a new press box, haven't they, apparently?
Well, they haven't because they don't own the ground.
It's the foot.
Yeah, they were 11th Huddersfield with
Yeah.
14.48 and Salford 12th with 13.97.
But if Huddersfield were to drop back below 14,
Toulouse on 13th on 13.5. Actually, I
It's
didn't
not-
realise London were only on 14. Were 14th.
the other thing as well is if you get 0.25 for winning the championship, then that could be the difference for being in the 12.
And York get a bit for winning the 1895 as well, don't they?
York are 15th and Bradford are 16th. So
Yeah.
it's quite a jump for Bradford to go from 16th to...
Well, you have to do is make
Winning
your
the
tally a
12.
bit bigger and
But
get
they
some
only need to
LED
go from
bulbs in.
16th to 14th now to actually get in. It's just they will be in that process of decision making where some would say...
Oh, you have to finish
there
in the
is
top
vested.
14 in order to...
You have to finish in the top 12 to get automatic.
Correct.
The other two is then discretionary.
Oh,
Like being kicked out of the wheelchair rugby league
But I
player.
suspect
but the
that
London... Well,
they're going to base it on the IMG rankings plus finance, plus extra double secret probation finance.
I didn't realise you had to be in the top 14 on IMG rankings to
I'm
be
not-
considered for the...
Don't think you do.
No, I don't think you do.
But I think if
Can
you
be any-
are,
can be
it,
anybody.
it strengthens your case.
Yeah, Pyongyang.
But that's why I think Oldham at the moment, if you look at the current rankings, they're C grade.
27th
Yeah.
out of 33. But I think it's irrelevant, the IMG, because they're obviously not going to be in the top 12. So, but they put
But I
their
think
expression
the
of interest
ground
in,
they've
and then...
got to make up
But they can go
for
and
this
say,
round
Yeah.
is too much.
Oh, they're not going to be in the top 12, but that's what I'm saying. If
I
they're
don't
not in the
think-
top 12, then it's the hat in the ring, isn't it, for the
So then the question
assessment?
becomes, if you lose Salford and you want that Greater Manchester market, do Oldham become a more exciting proposition because you can keep that Greater
on
Manchester
their
market?
cigarette paper, Mike Falcon say, we might sign my son. He's famous. Along with all the Oldham Ruffian... Because now the Oldham Ruffian Devils. That's what they're called, you see, because they signed all the players from Salford. Time to bring out the COVID cardboard fans for stadium usage, says Chris. Well, if they click the turnstile, how do we know they're not real people? Yeah. One for you, one for me. No. IMG going around saying person, cardboard.
I saw that there was a tweet, was it yesterday, I saw about Wigan's crowd.
Yeah, it was the lowest,
Lowest, but
lowest home
something
crowd
like
of the season.
13,000 and some.
Yeah, but people want to go see Super League's entertainers Wakefield Trinity. It's disgraceful.
It was the last bank holiday weekend before Christmas, and the schools all go back next week. So a lot of people do go away this weekend.
Speaking of Wigan, Matt said, I thought I'd raise a potential discussion point. Has anyone ever had a more potent edge of gingers than Wigan Warriors? Farrell, Kieran, Eckersley.
Is Kieran a ginger?
Well, is there a panel for this as well?
Yeah, I know he's fair haired. I didn't realise he was ginger. I'm obviously a big fan of Ginge having a daughter who is.
Can you build a rugby league team of gingers?
Talking of gingers.
Well,
not
they
gingers,
chocolate.
but
Well,
they've
chocolate
got ginger on the
honeycomb
packet.
ones. Yeah, I don't know. I took some of the raspberry cream ones home last week because you sent them to me. Unfortunately, before I got to them, the dog did.
Did the dog enjoy?
Got
it?
them out of my bag and ate them. Yeah.
Oh, that's all right.
Yeah.
The dog-
I think they're.
we
I
kept
think-
you some of
I
those
think-
from last week.
I think
'cause
they're
they were
okay
a
for
bit
dogs.
special.
They're outstanding. The Foxes
Well-
ones.
There are two missing, and it wasn't someone on this panel that tried.
So, why don't Batley say we'll give you some Fox's biscuits? We'll get them in as a sponsor to Super League.
Talking of which,
James Ford.
James Ford.
He's back. Now we can't say he's going to get every job in rugby league because he's got a job, which is no good, is it?
Oh, but I saw the only tweets I saw in response were from Featherston fans, I think.
Well,
Again, it's an interesting. It's a really interesting time of the year to appoint your coach when you don't know what's happening with the team. So I get, the other big news, if it was big news, that Castleford finally announced Ryan Carr as their coach last week. But this is a Super League position where, they've gone through an extensive interview process and they brought someone from around the world and they're going to give him the tools to do a better job. And that's a great story because they know they're going to be in Super League next year. Brad Arthur staying is great for Super League.
is that because his son's moved to Hull?
I think that will have been a factor. I think he will
Because
have
that's
known,
official.
he will have known that, and obviously one of the things that he wanted to do was be close to his family.
Daughter and the A-level results, wasn't it, for university in Newcastle?
And she's got in, and she's going to live with the other brother. So it's sort of all sorted out. They're understandable stories because both of those clubs know exactly what they're going to do. James Ford getting a job at Batley, but we don't know what Batley are going to be doing or what recruitment he can do or who they're going to be playing.
And he's not starting until next year either.
But I don't think it really matters, does it? Because they need a coach.
Yes.
And they haven't got one.
But
Well,
if
they
I,
have, John
but if
Key,
I
but
was
temporarily.
if I was the appointee, I'd want some assurances about the job before I took it.
I think you only really want to know what your budget is, probably, because then you know what
but
you're
they
playing
don't know
with.
what the budget is because they don't know what
They don't-
central distribution is going to be.
Batley don't pay an awful lot, do they?
No.
They're not big spenders, so...
They were quite good on Sunday, but I'm only judging them against honestly.
They've sorry, this
That's okay.
intake of breath was
I know.
really big.
That's my
They've continually overperformed, in my opinion,
Yes.
at Batley.
Yes.
And
Until
this season.
But that means James Hall can't be the new Bradford coach because they need a new coach next year because Brian Noble's going upstairs.
Jamie Langley is the rumour, isn't it?
Oh, because he's not the Leeds coach.
No.
What were you shaking your head at? Does that mean you can't say something?
Somebody who was on the shortlist for the Castleford job may well be in line for the Bradford job.
Can you remember who's on the
But
short
someone
list?
who wasn't Australian.
Not Justin Morgan. Well, he's French.
Who?
Justin Morgan.
No, he wasn't on the shortlist.
I can't remember the other two. To be fair.
I tell you what, if I hadn't got the Castleford job, I would not be happy
It
that
can't
my
be,
name was in the papers as not being good enough to get the Castleford job.
Ian,
But that's just-
what's his name? Was he on
What's-
the list?
He may well have been.
He's Welsh, so he's not Australian.
Forgot his name.
But clearly he's made his intentions
Trust the
felt
process.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There may be a potential opening for someone like him, with Brian Noble as the director of rugby.
Director of traffic. Good. Does he like short pitches, small pitches? We are lucky in rugby league because there are lots of places around with green rectangles we can play our sport on. Because speedways and Greyhound's another track announced closing today at Hove next year. Barry Bar's going. We are lucky in a sense sometimes.
Is the furore about Bradford's pitch a bit of a red herring when Castleford's never gets mentioned?
Well, this is what
Oh,
Castleford-
Bradford's is something shocking.
Yeah,
It is absolute.
but
How that was
if you
ever
allow
approved.
any team to be in Super League whose pitch doesn't
Yeah,
match the minimum
honestly,
requirement, then can you go hard on another team whose pitch doesn't match the minimum?
Yeah, but there's minimum standards, and there's minimum standards. I have never, I don't think I've refereed, and I did referee there in the last few years, and I honestly couldn't believe it.
Is it like an under sevens game?
I've refereed on so many better National Conference League pitches and amateur pitches.
3 passes and you're over the top.
It's so narrow. It is unbelievable.
I bet it'd be real proper size on the game, but not in real life.
And they changed the pitch because I think I was the second game they had. The first game was even worse, I think. And they think they bring the posts in to make the pitch shorter. I don't know.
Because James Ford was he at Featherstone at that point or York when he was?
Yeah.
He wasn't happy, was he?
No.
He wasn't happy about the pitch. What Castleford should do though is like Lancashire did when they redid Old Trafford for the cricket: turn the pitch round. If you're going to knock down that main stand, turn the pitch round. I know it probably takes a bit of more effort, but
Well, you
Bradford.
Castleford.
Oh, Castleford.
Oh, Bradford's a lost cause,
I
isn't
was
it?
going to say, what do you knock down there?
All of it. Fill it in. Fill it in. Fill it in. And the Richard Dunn Sports Centre. Des Haslam is out of work, says Phil. He could go to Bradford. Well, he's not pal.
He ain't coming to Super League.
No.
I like his commitment to having the same hairstyle for the last however many years. I'm a big fan of Des. He's not a big fan of the media,
going to
though, is
stand
he?
on the hill because he didn't get a visa? I'm only on holiday.
Yeah. I feel like I should say something about Tubes because John usually does, but he's not here to do that. Did anything else happened of dramatic news? I don't think there has. We're kind of just waiting for something else
I
daft to
do-
happen.
I mean,
there
again,
are daft things that I can't talk about, but that's save that till later.
The marketing campaign, the last charge.
Oh yeah, I like that. Yeah, yeah.
I think
Big fan.
that's you can't judge it on 1 week, but it's sort
But
of
it's a
worked.
thing. Yeah.
And there's a narrative starting of leading from one round into the next, and even the first game that it was plastered on the pitch, although it wasn't really.
Because it's graphic. Yeah, it's computer.
You immediately were talking about the implications of that result with the other games that weekend, and then we're into the end of that weekend. Well, how does that affect the games that are coming up? I think I think that looks like it's going to work really well. And the other thing I like about it is it focuses on excellence. And people can talk till the cows come home about whether relegation is a good thing or not. I'm not sure in a sport like ours that we can afford it. But so many seasons, even recently, we've spent the latter 3 or 4 rounds talking about who was or wasn't going to get relegated and taking the focus off excellence at the other end. I think this last charge...
Yeah, it's an interesting playoff race, isn't it?
Yes, and it's a
putting
great
focus on
playoff to
that.
do it because you've got a race for 6th, you've got 2nd, 3rd, 4th and 5th, and Hull Car will be first, but obviously they've stumbled at the first hurdle where the last charges come in. So there's stories.
It's a good job our listeners listen to other podcasts because they're better than me. Mark says, Ken Davey announced on another podcast. They had applied to be in Super League next year, so they have.
So they have, yeah. So they're obviously concerned about their IMG rating.
Phil says, turn the stands around so you don't have to watch Castleford play. Bit harsh. Bit harsh. Even Andy said, look, I'm from Wakefield. Andy said that. Ian says, can I view play on the wing? I'll go on one. I think this might be St Helens who... Owen Dagnall's out, which is sad because he's got all the tries. Although we could play for Penrith as well this weekend because he's sticking the Rezzies out, isn't he? He's Nathan Cleary. Not Nathan Cleary. Ivan Cleary. So...
I reckon if they're in an emergency and they need just numbers to break the record, the three of us could play for Salford this weekend.
I mean, chance. Shoulders a bit... I'd run it in once. Just, get my heritage number, get a shirt, take it on, be good. I'm willing to do that. I'd put my hands up for Leeds against Halifax if James would have had me, but...
Well, he offered to play a reserve team, I think, but
they have no place,
be a good idea.
Play welfare again. If anyone hasn't seen the difference in... you've seen Wheelchair Rugby League on telly, so you've seen England versus France, you've seen the Grand Final, you've seen the Challenge Cup Final, you see how fast it is. And the difference between that and the reserves or the development or whatever it is, it's night and day. It's scary. So there is player welfare issues there. But that's by the by. I think that's it. I think that's the news.
Yeah, well, we didn't have any news and we managed to get to 10 to 7 and we're already ready to go.
Well, there's none left.
There are. We saved them.
There's only 3 of them.
Whatever's left are yours.
In the Women's Super League this week...
nothing happened.
Nothing happened.
Games happened.
Well, there was a big game. Unfortunately, none of us could see it. Why did no one put York versus Wigan on to watch?
In fact, to be fair, that is the performance of the weekend.
32-10, 22-0 up at half-time. York are back.
Did they ever go away?
Well, no, because they're still above Leeds in the table. But they are back.
There's 2 things with that.
The marker is down.
It's a fantastic result for York, who, lest we forget, are the defending champions.
Yeah.
And
which I think some people have forgotten.
Yes, haven't been given enough credit for that. It won't do Wigan any harm because I think they were sailing away thinking, they weren't thinking anything, but everybody was going, yeah, it's Wigan's to lose. I think the other thing that we haven't given enough credit to is St Helens are actually top of the league.
Oh, they are.
And undefeated.
I've noticed that. Peace Lacura scored again. Is she? No, it's all right scoring against whoever, but she's gone against Wigan.
She's good.
So, yes, St Helens 90, Barrow 0.
There'd be a concern about Barrow, I think, because they had such a good year last year, and I know that we went to the launch of the women's season, and Amanda Wilkinson was saying it's almost like we're starting again because of the number of people. But it's safe to say that they haven't kicked on this year. 90-0 is not a defeat they would have had last year.
Congratulations! What have you seen?
That's not the current logo, is it? I thought it was a purple one.
Yeah, it is a purple one because women's is purple, wheelchair is green.
Green.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's okay because I can't remember the results if they're not in front of me.
Big scores, I think.
Lee 10, Leeds 40. Well done, the Rhinos.
Lucy Murray. Very good again.
And stupid Huddersfield, stupid Giants. Not. Actually, we had a tweet about this because I made a point of making a video of that because it was important that people saw how stupid this decision was. Huddersfield. That's what the first thing they should have asked Ken Davey on this other podcast was. Why do your women's team kick off at the same time as your men's team, pretty much, in a different part of your town? But they won 52-4 over Warrington.
Against the same opponent.
So again, that's disrespectful to the players and the coaches and the supporters, because we had a tweet from the Supporters Association at Huddersfield. They do lots of, because as we know, rugby league is built on volunteers. They do lots of volunteering for the women's team, but they also do stuff for the men's team at the same time, where there's a fan zone. So how, you're splitting your volunteers between 2 things, and it's not necessary.
Have you ever had an invite to go to the Huddersfield Supporters Association? You must have. Did you get the warning that I got? You probably didn't because you're not a referee. But I got a warning about this old lady.
Do you have an umbrella?
She was all right.
So, we're coming towards the end of the Women's Super League season. And what we don't know is who's going to win the Woman of Steel award. Because unlike the men's, which has the exciting table, which has gone quiet now, we don't know who's going to win. We've no idea. So here's some names who could be.
Nor the process of how it's selected.
That sounds about right.
Some names who could be Woman of Steel this year. Eva Hunter, we mentioned the other week.
Big fan.
Are you going to say Lucy Murray? Because you just mentioned her there for Leeds. Because I was thinking about Leeds, a difficult team to pick a
Probably
outstanding
Mel
individual.
Howard.
She was what I was thinking. They're a difficult team to pick an outstanding individual from because it's very much been a team effort this year.
Ebony Stead has been really good.
York, my immediate thought was Savannah Andrade.
She's been excellent.
Again, Wigan, you could pick a number of players, but Ruby Hunter's the one that stood out. And for St Helens, because it's not going to come from anyone out of the top four.
Well, it shouldn't.
I mean, there's definitely going to be an inquiry into the voting process. Danny McGifford may be the joint top scorer of tries in Super League, along with Ebony Stead and Grace Banks, and Eva Hunter. But Vicky Whitfield scored another hat trick, the outstanding prop forward in the competition, and
you're going to stand there with a placard going.
I'm going to vote
Vicky for Woman of Steel.
Chantal Crowell. Shani
scored a try on her 100th appearance.
TV Shani Crowell.
She's the first female player to make 100 appearances.
Apparently.
She's astonishing.
And it got
she
on
really
Granada.
should have a book written about
Got on Granada. Yeah, she'll come on the podcast. She's got a book from her. But well done to her on 100 appearances. Because in Australia, you forget our top division is actually a few years ahead of Australia, so they're celebrating 25 appearances.
Ali Brigginshaw was 50. I think there were 3 of them that got 50 this week.
Well, we're celebrating 100, so it's good. This week, Barrow Wigan, Lee Huddersfield, and St Helens versus York on Saturday. Oh, St York could be a good one, wouldn't it? It's a shame I can't see it. So
well, that's massive
again,
now.
Yeah.
York having beaten Wigan.
Sunday, Warrington Leeds. Less so. But, yeah. So, welcome to the, that was the women's thing. I might clip that as a video. Because women's rugby league videos get views. And we're all about the views.
Get our ING points up.
Exactly. Andrew says...
Have we got our application in?
Well,
we've got till Thursday.
Expression of interest. Yeah.
I spent all Bank Holiday Monday looking for mini roundabouts to paint with the North Korea flag, just in support of the pylons. Andrew says, Ford was at York when we played at Odsal with AstroTurf corners. It's not much better now. Ian says, not Carl Phelps out as well. So St Helens have got no wingers because Murphy's injured as well, isn't he? Phil says it's hard to pick a Woman of Steel. So few games are televised. Correct. And as I said earlier, the highlights packages that the club's putting out, they're not good enough. Not good enough. We've got to... Where's the story I was reading earlier? It's from earlier this year. The Premiership Women's Rugby, which I understand will now be called the Prem or something, because of marketing, has signed a deal with the BBC. And they're going to show a game a week on iPlayer and stuff. What are we doing? What are we doing?
Well, don't we need a competition that's more equitable?
Yeah, but we can always
sell it to a broadcaster.
But I'm sure there's games in that competition which
Competition's a mess now.
But you need to have a weekly offering.
We're
and our weekly offerings, which is why you should have a 14 league, or we've spoken about this before. If you're serious about making the women's footprint different to the men's, which we should, as indeed we should be doing with the wheelchair, then London and Cardiff should have been the 2 teams that were promoted to Super League because they've got the most potential.
And they're fishing in different pools. Warrington are fishing in the same pool as St Helens and Wigan and Leeds.
Again, that like in Wales, that with the men and the women, that there have been cutbacks in the women's game in terms of the amount of money they're offering to players that don't pay for the Prem sides. You're offering them the opportunity to play high level rugby.
They're getting rid of 2 clubs. Or they're saying they're going to get rid of 2 and then go down to 3 because then that's more palatable. We should be looking and saying, are there any players here we can bring in? Because of the Christian Wade thing, it's obviously not worked out. He's going to go back to rugby union.
But he was 33 anyway, so it would...
But obviously some Welsh talent who we can get in.
Well, the other thing as well is, hats off
to
to North Wales Crusaders. Played their 500th game this week, and next week they're going to win League One.
They might be the last team to win League One for
Whatever that
5
means.
years.
But they're going to finish top of the league, and whatever trophy or
Get
salver
promoted to the
there is.
merged league.
But they're going to win a trophy, aren't they?
Yeah.
Because they've been the most consistent team in the division that they've played in this year. Well, that's a foothold in Wales, isn't it?
2 weeks in a row of League One rugby. Who would have thought it? Midlands 22, Keighley 24. Cougars are back.
Hurricanes left it late, apparently.
22-4 up at half time.
Very nearly came back and won it.
But well done to the Cougars.
Did Cowie play?
No, but I was with Keighley on
It's about the
Saturday.
only thing he isn't doing.
No, I was with Keighley on Saturday at the Manchester Pride Parade. So they had another float. I didn't see Salford Foundation because they'd been there the last couple of years, so I don't know if they were there or not, but I didn't see them. But they had player representation on the float, which was good to see.
Why did Keighley go to Manchester? Is that like the big?
It's just the
biggest one.
the big one to do, yeah.
Newcastle. I'm not saying like why don't they go to Keighley? Like Leeds or something.
They hosted Keighley Pride 2 or 3 weeks ago at the ground. But did you discuss the Eccleshill football?
Yeah,
thing
we didn't discuss it. I just went big question mark. What is the?
Well, there's an easy answer to that.
Round
It's going to be Keighley FC
Oh, well,
playing at Lorcombe Lane.
Well, they're Eccleshill, whatever they're called, United, is it, or whatever? I don't
Eccleshill
know.
Way. Yeah.
Eccleshill and
FC.
Keighley like wait for the name.
If you get a football club in your ground, you stand a greater chance of getting grant money, don't you? Which is, Bradford, I think, have now invited
Will there
a
be
football
riots
team
on the
or
streets of Eccleshill if they move them to Keighley?
Well, they've already moved them, haven't they? They weren't playing in Eccleshill before, I don't think. I can't remember where they were playing, but it wasn't Eccleshill.
Can't be as bad as Farsley, who were playing in Buxton at some point last year.
Yeah.
Non-league football has better. Step 7 football has better video highlights than women's rugby league.
When you look at that as a competition, League One, 9 home games. What sort of business can
But
make
also 9
any
home
money on
games
that?
when there's a gap between all.
Oh.
I mean, Midlands have just gone 7 weeks without a home game.
Well, George Senior, who plays for Dewsbury, who occasionally cuts my hair. He's like gone to Ibiza for 2 weeks or whatever, 10 days in the middle of the season because you can.
Because you can.
Great. It's great if you're a player.
Oh yeah. Newcastle 10,
On
Whitehaven
the proceeds
28.
of cutting your.
Yeah.
So I don't have my haircut anymore. It costs too much. Newcastle 10, Whitehaven 28. A good performance of Newcastle, as Whitehaven pointed out. I think they scored 70 against them early in the season or something. So Newcastle...
Graham Stedman. But again, the thing about that is it helps being linked to York.
Yeah.
There's a pathway.
All right.
And the York-Wigan game was played as a curtain raiser to that as well. So
Because they can't play at York at the minute because of the other thing.
And presumably no talk of Newcastle Thunder, whatever they're called these days, becoming Newcastle Red Bulls.
Well, no.
Because there was they were previously part of the Rugby Union Club, weren't they?
yeah. Why can't we get Red Bull sponged in our entire competition? Never mind a team in a competition.
Because we've already sold it to someone. What was I going to say about League One and Newcastle and York? I can't remember. Oh, that was it, about the... we should ask Phil, our Salford friend. Is he happy? Because obviously now Salford, massively proud of their identity. Salford. No, the M word, not that one, the other one, don't put it anywhere. Rugby Union, Manchester, all over the stadium. North Wales 31, Gull 6. And congratulations to Brett Ferris, who signed another contract. He's going to be going around. Is he trying to break Paul Sykes' record?
It's going to be 84 by the time.
They're just both going to go on forever. Swinton 18, Rochdale 12 in the big derby.
Which was on the Sportsman.
Yeah, I didn't bother watching it. So.
Why?
I don't know.
It's a local derby.
They'll be in the same division again next year. They can
I
play
would
each other
imagine Martin Kelner was watching it.
again. Well, I hope
in
so.
his last week of semi-professional
Semi-professional
broadcast.
broadcast.
Well, the rationale, it's a sportsman, how do they make their money? Through advertising on YouTube?
Well, it's just
They're
it's
free,
just
aren't they?
Betfred. It's just Betfred.
Oh, is it Betfred?
Yeah,
I didn't
yeah.
even know that.
Yeah, yeah.
Right,
so
okay.
so if they didn't sponsor the competition.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know how, I don't know if they make any money on YouTube. I know how much we make from people watching this program. They have a higher
Not
audience.
enough to get your hair
I've
cut.
got a
by,
cat. And, no, because I'd rather buy a cat for the table. So I don't know if I assume that the fact that I mentioned Betfred a lot is the point, but I don't know how many.
and it's content for their YouTube channel.
I don't know how they make it.
I'm not criticising it.
No,
I
no,
just,
no. It's just
a
not-
random. It just seems like a random game. as opposed to having a game every week or every 2 weeks or whatever.
There's no context for League
No.
One. You just it's
Again.
a local derby. Swinton are playing well at the moment,
And then who knows about it? You know.
and there's no finals anyway. It's not like the Sportsmen are going to do the eights this year.
Big breaking news on Sky Sports now. It's come through on my phone. You know, the other week when we had the big announcement of Super Leagues extending to 14 and Ralph Rimmer's back. The big news in sport today, right now, Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift have announced their engagement. That's the big sporting news.
Oh, I'm glad we were on there to
Yeah.
reflect it.
Yeah. North Wales then, top of the table. Swinton, Rochdale and Workington and Rochdale are in the top four. Whatever that means. Does Mark Dunning phone you up and say what's going on?
Yeah.
Yeah. And you say, I don't know. Why are you asking us?
The clubs don't know. No one knows.
And we're trying to sell this competition to people. To say... Because when we say what's the point of League One, it's not as a derogatory thing.
No, not at all.
Because we'd
Not at all.
like the third tier to have some importance to it. There's a nice trophy at the end of it, but if the sport doesn't care, it's like the league table here's got these three teams in the middle: Doncaster, Widnes, and Barrow in the Championship. But what are the lines for? What do the lines denote?
Well, the top six still means something, but nothing below it does.
Does it? Oh, yeah. Playoff. But playoff for what?
For the
trophy,
championship,
yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever that means.
The 0.25.
No,
yeah.
0.25. Yay.
Should go around holding up that. Doncaster 22, Barrow 32. Good
That's
win on
a
the road
great
for Barrow
result
with the
for
way that Doncaster have been playing this season. So, yeah, very important result for them. Again, what a turnaround in the second half. 24-6 up Barrow at half time, but still went on 1. And of course, talking about Featherstone earlier, Featherstone 14, Widnes 30. The mighty Vikings.
Did you see the last try?
I haven't
social
seen the
media?
last try. Was it good?
Well,
Is it as good as the Canberra ones?
it's more comic.
Oh.
The hooter was about to go, and in fact blew as John Bennison picked up the ball, acting halfback on loan from St Helens.
It might be.
He could
Might be.
play.
Yeah, good point.
He broke through the markers, and the Featherstone fullback was walking off the pitch because he thought the game had finished, and he just walked straight past him.
Let me check if the full back was just in case.
I suspect it was a fullback.
Yeah, it was. It was exactly.
It wasn't your man who scored 2 tries.
No. Hunslet 6, Batley 40.
I was there.
Was it a game of rugby league?
Have they won a game, Hunslet, this year?
They've won twice.
But not at home.
Okay.
So the fans are desperate to beat Sheffield.
Are they like the Hull FC of the Championship?
I suppose a big game for them.
Is that their new town?
No, the problem for them was they dominated the first 20 minutes but didn't score. And when a team hasn't won many games, particularly at home, you can actually visibly see the confidence ebbing away from them. Lee Gaskill was playing in the halves, and his game sense was probably one play ahead of a lot of the players that were around him.
Mm-hmm.
And then Batley scored, and you just knew who was going to win from that moment. Batley then played it down the middle because their pack was much bigger. Hunslet are quite lightweight. Mm-hmm. And they steamrolled them.
Remind me to say play it down the middle when we talk about the Wakefield game. London 18, Oldham
But it was
20.
rugby league on a beautiful summer Sunday
what more could you
afternoon.
want? Is it ice cream?
And you could hear the steam train going past and tooting.
So it's like being in the 1940s or
wonderful.
something. London 18, Oldham 20. That sounded like a good game as well.
Yeah, Oldham again pushed all the way. With London ahead in that one till
They were
late
12-8 up at half time.
Yeah,
And so good result for Oldham.
but also great improvement from London.
Sheffield 8, Bradford 70.
I just
I don't know if they just
I
need
don't know
to
what Sheffield can do this
Just
year.
start over again or something. I don't know.
I think it's all about next year.
Yeah, end of season can't come soon enough, can it?
No,
1,300 there, so that, the away fans' points.
it was
are
a
good.
sellout. But you can't fault Bradford because you can only
No.
beat the team that's in front of you, and they were 40 odd up at half time.
42-4, yeah.
Any news
Absolutely
on their
ruthless.
ground, Sheffield? This new ground that's supposed to be happening?
Not yet.
No.
So that's at Johnfield, isn't it, or something? I've not heard anything. And the big one,
Which was a big one.
and it was on if you knew how to fight. If you got a VPN, which a lot of people have these days, you could have watched Toulouse 8, York Knight 16. 700 billion games in a row now for
Fantastic
Mark Applegarth's
result
men.
for you.
If he doesn't win Coach of the Year in the Championship,
What a
then there's
fantastic result.
definitely a fix. If Brian Noble wins Coach of the Year, we're all storming on the
Well,
awards.
Big game this week, Bradford to lose.
And that's on Saturday night. Why is that on a Saturday rather than Friday? Oh, they're giving up on Fridays now, they said.
Probably because it's Toulouse, isn't it?
Batley London also on Saturday afternoon. Sunday afternoon, Barrow Halifax, Oldham Doncaster, Sheffield Featherstone, the Mark Aston derby, and Widnes versus Hunza. So there's no game for York this week, so they can't win again.
But they can't lose.
No, I forget people get bye weeks in the Championship, which we will have when we've got 21 teams in there next year.
Unless it's 3 companies of 7.
Apparently, none of the permutations actually work.
No. Well, they might be hoping that another team won't be there and 20 is easier to deal with than 21.
Who they want to go out of business then?
Well, it's not who they want to go out of business, it's who might merge with somebody else and not need their own identity.
Not Whitehaven and Workington,
No.
surely.
No.
But there's not much left of Whitehaven, is there?
The Greater Manchester Hornet Lions. Horny Lions.
A team that's already taken over the pathway of another team.
All right, but we don't want them to. We don't want to lose that
No,
team.
of course we do.
Because that team's actually
But that's strategic, isn't it? You want to keep them for that
yeah,
reason.
because they're in a different area as opposed to Castleford, Wakefield, and Featherstone. Morons.
You said that, not me.
Batley and Dewsbury. But Dewsbury aren't even in. Dewsbury in Wakefield. Super League.
Rubbish. Just on the border.
New Crown Flat, whatever it's called these days.
The next to the tip, and there was the tip. The tip was in Wakefield, and the ground was in Dewsbury.
As opposed to Bradford. Well, no, it does.
Well, they're the same thing.
Yeah.
Chris, we're going to have to talk about Warrington. But not yet. We'll leave them till last. You can turn off. Because on Thursday, Super League started with Leeds Rhinos 28, Hull Kings are over 6. Hull, their season's over now. They've beaten Wigan, and that's it. League Leaders Shield. That's almost safe, as Jim Bowen would have said. And Leeds, the final charge. They are Rhinos. They are charging towards that St Helens Leeds Grand Final we're all looking forward to.
You were there.
I was there.
You enjoyed a bit of hospitality?
No, I didn't.
Oh.
I'm sure you could have done.
Possibly. I didn't realise that match officials get their tickets in the whatever it's called now, AMT, is it? Stand, the East Stand?
Oh, right, behind the post.
Behind the post. And I'm not a fan of sitting behind the post. But
Was it good for you?
You've been near the
as good a
wheelchair
view
team, they're
as good a
over
view
there.
as it can be sitting behind the post. But it was a good atmosphere, and I thought it was a great game. And it's not many games I think that, to be fair.
I think the first half was as well as Leeds have played this year.
They just played the wrong way because all the action was at the West End. Not that I'm a Leeds fan, but just that
You could-
you
yeah.
know,
You
everything
didn't
was
enjoy
at the
the
other end of the
majesty
field. Yeah.
I do think clearly Hull KR were hampered by Soasasu going off early and then Jai Whitbread not long after that. But Leeds were playing a relatively young pack because they've got 3 of their pack starters out. So I think that sort of balanced it out. I just it was the ferocity which Leeds played in the first 10 minutes.
Jack Connor's back again. Is he now consistent? Is 2 games in a row? That's consistency.
He's done it against a big team, hasn't he? That again would be one of the charges levelled at him that you need to do it on a big stage.
What I would say about Leeds is that they play with some creativity.
They do.
They play with some risk.
That first 20 minutes when
So-
they weren't just. I mean, Palacio was fantastic.
I thought Miller was fantastic.
Cassell not far behind, but they play.
And he was daring to play out of
Oh.
out of his own in goal with the pass, which leads to a break, and then I don't know they send 2 men through on a lead to score off the back of that. They were prepared to play in areas of the field that other teams don't necessarily. But equally, if you go back to was it last year, the previous coach that they had,
Ron Smith. Yes.
and some of the stupid antics that they were coming up with then.
Where they were playing but in the wrong parts
Yeah,
of the field and
yeah,
not
they-
having got physical domination first.
They're doing it with some measure of structure, I think. Not that I've ever played, but that's what I observe, and I think my criticism of Hull KR, and I think it would apply the week before, was that they were dominant against Wigan, and didn't score enough points, and
they were quite conservative.
they didn't do anything really against Leeds. They were too structured.
I do think that Presley Cassell's a talent.
How long before the...
I don't want to heap too much
Yeah.
on it. It's like his 5th game,
We need to hide him from the Australians, don't we? Because they're going to see him and they're going to think...
They know about him. Yeah. Before he signed his recent contract, there was interest from the NRL in him. But, I mean, comparisons are inevitable, but they're unfair. But when he made the break in the second half and very nearly scored, that was Sam Burgess. It just looks...
I think that was the one where that was towards that standing out, and I
just got pulled down by Joe Burgess, and then Leeds scored on the back of it.
Yeah, and I think I'd said to Stephen's dad, I said, pity they didn't score. Not that I was bothered about it being Leeds, just because it would have been a great try, literally right in front of us.
But you got Harry Newman scoring just straight after.
The other corner.
But it was dominant. I mean, again, that would have been even more.
Well, it was when I left. I left with 10 minutes to go. It wasn't. I left when
it was impressive. I mean, the way it's going to work out is quite interesting because Leeds have got 3 potentially winnable games, while the other teams around them are playing each other. So it could be, this final charge could turn out to be quite fascinating because Saints have got to play Wigan and Leigh and Hull KR.
Difficult fixtures, those.
So Saints and Leigh have got to play each other. And Leeds have got Hull away, Huddersfield away and Catalan at home. So it could be interesting. That could be a really important win for Leeds. Which
South Sydney.
Everybody watching is now turned on.
Which NRL team's going to pick him up? How long's his contract?
5 years.
5 years, yeah. With a big break clause.
Well, all you can do is put on a big transfer fee because you can't stop.
No. And you wouldn't
NRL
want to.
teams coming in and offering huge amounts of money. He's only played 5 games, but you look at him as an 18-year-old, and like everybody looks big to me. To be fair, but physique-wise, he's Andy Farrell at 18. He's Sam when he was playing New Zealand.
And as you say, comparisons are a thing because we've all seen. I'm not going to name them because it'd be unfair. We've all seen players at 18 in that position be built up and fade away.
He's got it as well.
I mean, when you look at that top 5 at the moment, Hull KR, Wigan, Saints, Leeds, Leigh, I think Hull are obviously 6th. I can't see Hull or Wakefield or whoever gets in being good enough. But those top 5, really, anybody on their day, I think can win.
I think the magnitude of Wigan's win, which we'll come to in a minute, means that this time of year they're just starting to hit the kind of form they need to hit. I think they will finish 2nd. So I think there are three teams battling out for 2 spots to get a home playoff. Leeds haven't had a home playoff since 2017. So that would be the next, which happened to be a year that they won the grand final.
Was that before the 8s? The year before?
After
Was that after the 8s?
No, the 8s were invented so that Leeds didn't get relegated in 2016. Actually Warrington as well made use of the 8s, didn't they? They had a terrible year. But I think that battle for 2 teams getting a home playoff and 1 missing out is set to be absolutely fascinating over the next 4 weeks.
Did anyone watch Leigh versus Salford?
Yes.
Why?
I did.
Why did you do that?
It's Match of the Month in the next magazine.
So
that we can reflect what's happening around Salford more than the game itself.
Was it as?
But I did watch it.
Was it as?
They scored first, didn't they?
Not only did they score first, but it was 6-6 just going into half time, and the concession of that try just before the break gave Leigh the impetus. That I wouldn't say they were worried. I think they knew that if they stayed calm and Adrian Lamb was in control for much of the game, they were going to win it. But I don't think anybody before that game started thought it would, and it's a measure of Salford, isn't it, only be 38-6. And they were really good in for the first. It's patronising, isn't it? They were really good for the first 35 minutes, the best they've been for a while. And that can only be to the credit of the players themselves and Paul Rowley in getting anything out of them.
How did Tashambe look? Because apparently he was going to make his debut this week. So he's the one to keep an eye on when he's at work.
But again, they tried to pepper him because he's a young kid on debut. He's 12'4". Every single ball they put up, he was above them and catch. They had a couple of short dropouts. Yeah. He caught the ball both times to retain position. He looked really good. He's quick. Obviously, we knew he was quick when he was in the Leeds Academy. But again, he needs to put on a little bit of timber, because as a winger, you've got to do those carries coming out of yardage, and he is more of a grasshopper than a filled out 18-year-old. He looked really good, really good.
Phil said they just ran out of energy in the second
No,
half.
they did, and they've done a lot of defence, and it's hard. There's no systems there. They don't really know who's inside or outside of them. But no, the fact that they scored first was fantastic.
The ultimate unstructured team, because they don't actually have any structure because they can't train together. St Helens 16, Hull FC 10.
Rowan Mills was very good with his kicking game, wearing number 69. Even though they've used 68 players, they're up to number 69.
He was at Castleford, wasn't he?
Then he went to Hull KR to help out with the training, and now he's gone to Salford before he goes to York next year.
Do they know something?
Who?
York. St Helens won the Steve Prescott Cup, which annoys me because it's a trophy. It's not a cup. It's a boot. That's not a cup. If you're going to call something a cup, have it be a cup. St Helens 16, Hull 10. This was a game of rugby league on TV, watched by 12,005 people. And
I've only seen the highlights, but it was a very Hull performance. They are in virtually every game this year. They don't know when they're beaten, and
I watched it.
that's a massive turnaround.
I kind of half watched it whilst doing tidying up in the house, but I didn't think it. I didn't.
There. It's only a mess you'd have made.
I didn't think it was a great game actually. I thought it was a little bit slow. There were too many errors for me for it to be a good game. That's what concerns me about Saints. I know the third. You're gonna have to perform better than that in the playoffs.
Well, they've got their three. They've almost got the playoffs coming early. They're playing at Hull KR, Wigan, and League. That how they play in those games will determine whether they're a real challenge or not.
Yeah.
Paul says, losing Jed so early didn't help us, but can't deny Saints were the better team and deserved the win. As I've said all season, the difference in work rate from last year to this season has been key. Also, do we need to look at the captain's challenge to improve the captain's challenge next season? The time taken over decisions is frustrating for fans, and the number of inconclusive decisions is equally frustrating. Can we just bin it?
Well, you know my view. I told you all before it even came in. It shouldn't come in, and the technology is not good enough. And yeah, I agree. At times, decisions are taking too long. I think there's a couple of decisions in that. There's a captain's challenge in that game, which I think, on balance, I would have ruled differently, whether it was a ball steal or not. And there's a video call, which is the right outcome, but ultimately just takes far too long. Not helped equally when you start watching it on TV, and they're talking through a captain's challenge, which was in the game yesterday. What was it yesterday? Huddersfield, Warrington, Sunday. The video referees made the decision before we've even seen the footage.
What's going on with these angles that seem to be coming up after a decision has been made, which show that they were wrong? What's going on there?
Again, I think there was on that St Helens game, I believe there was an angle shown at half time, which on a call which wasn't seen before, and the whole point is that the video referee should have access to all the angles, and that shouldn't happen. So this is not helped by having games that are 6 camera games and then full camera games. The technology is not good enough.
And you've got to add into that our captains haven't yet worked out how to do a captain's challenge.
I don't know.
Which they weren't going to do overnight.
I don't know. There's some teams that have done
better.
pretty well.
Yeah, they're getting better, but it's a new concept.
There's still some dumb challenges. Like
Yes.
I think there was a challenge early on in the was it the Catalan game? No, there was a game I watched quite a few this week, and I just thought
Good job you're here.
I know, yeah, you burnt your challenge early in the game, and then
that's the other thing.
you should have used it later.
Time,
Yeah.
But captains will get slightly better.
What I would say is
technology probably won't.
Yeah, you then compare the captain's challenges on the Leeds game. There was only one used in that game. I think it ultimately was the wrong outcome. Actually, it was correct, I suppose, but it should have been a penalty.
Yeah.
So it's also down to some teams that are not overusing it, probably, or they're using it when they think it's right to use it. If you use it later in the game, you probably don't get quite as many.
The team that's got the best record on the captain's challenge is Salford.
It is, yeah, I believe so.
Which is
You get a trophy for that as well.
well,
at the end of the season,
there must be a salver in the cupboard at the Etihad.
What irritates me though about it is that commentators and this and the other and pundits will say, well, it's not good enough, get rid of it. Well, this is the kind of conversation that should be happening before with people that
when you
know.
said it,
Yeah.
Phil says you can drink out of a boot, so it's a cup. Fair enough. We also should say, because it surprised me for no apparent reason, Lewis Martin, top try scorer in the competition with 22. He's 3 clear of Mikey Lewis and Jay.
When you add in what he scored in the Challenge Cup as well, he's over 30. It's a phenomenal. We said last year, I think we picked out Lewis Martin as saying the young kids that can get through this year with Hull are going to be exponentially better because of the experience that they've been on. And I thought there was enough to see in Lewis Martin last year in the way he was playing to say this kid could be something. I don't know if he's an outside bet for England because you can only pick 24 players and there's going to be some very experienced names ahead of him. But he can't do a lot more at the moment. I reckon he's a shout for the World Cup next year.
Catalans 38, Castleford 4. I've not seen this game. I don't think I need to see this game.
I reviewed it.
No.
Again, not a thriller, as you can probably imagine. But a good result for Catalan nevertheless, because they needed a win, didn't they? And that's their last home game of the season.
Now they've got Wigan this week.
Oh, sorry, yes. Wigan's their last game.
Last home game they can win this week.
And then they've got three away games to finish. So, it was a good win for them. But a reminder for me, which is why we shouldn't be going to 14, and actually probably why not every game should be on TV.
Well, I only saw the highlights and then saw Chris Chester's interview afterwards and thought he was extremely kind on his team, because it's almost as if, because we've appointed Ryan Carr this week, we don't want to give the impression that he's got a bigger job to do than we actually. I thought if you'd have asked me what the score would have been before that game, the way that Catalan have been playing at home and the pressure that they've put on themselves by not performing this year, and the fact that Castleford were coming off a horrendous defeat at home the week before, and what they've tended to do is be inconsistent. So normally if they've had a really bad defeat, there's been a bit of an indication that that's a terrible result for Castleford.
They had showed some improvement, I think, because I think it was 4-4 with a few minutes to go to half time. I think they scored just about on the
that
hooter.
Second half is a shocker.
Yeah. I think once they realised the game had gone, probably.
But again, a lot of the players have been told they're not going to be there.
I know, and the season's over, isn't it? So, to what extent are they that bothered?
You'd thought they'd been building up for the big game against Wakefield.
Oh, there's another one.
There is.
I was going to call the league game this week the Chris Chester derby, but that's the other Chris Chester derby. There's too many Chris Chester derbies these days. Wigan 44, Wakefield 2. Wakefield were rubbish, and some of the fans need to give their heads a shake, because I was waiting for this moment of the season to come. I thought it would have come earlier, but Wakefield have been better than I thought. We stormed the Championship last year, Wakefield, because we had the best team. It was a Super League team in the Championship because we spent a lot of money, and that's why we beat all of the teams and won all of the silverware. And you're not going to do that when you're playing Wigan, who were quite good because they've won all the other trophies. And that's not to take anything away from Wigan, because they were good. And Bevan French is back and he makes them tick. And they do like dragging people into touch. So what I would do is, if I've got the ball, play it in the middle. Play right down the tram lines, as they'd say in the NFL. Don't go to the wings. Stay in the middle. Be boring, because they kept dragging Lock and Worms into touch and stuff. So
whoever finishes sixth, be it Hull or Wakefield, it has been a successful season. And from where they were to where they will end up, brilliant. And yet, warning notice to everybody else from Wigan that they're not finished yet, even though a lot of people are starting to write them off. Clearly, there would be a slight concern that Bevan French being there or not being there seems to make such a difference. But obviously if he's there, they're virtually unplayable.
Yeah.
Tim sent us some breaking news. I just need to, as journalists say, stand up to make sure it's...
So I was just trying to find out what their final fixture. The Catalan away this week, and then they're at home.
His Leeds at
home against Cass and home against Leeds.
Which I don't think will determine second, but it'd be which I don't think will determine second, but it'd be interesting.
The two games there that are probably interesting. The two games there that are probably interesting, aren't they? The St Helens away and Wigan.
Unless the Leeds one is a dead rubber by then, and they're Ducks and Drakes a bit, because they might meet in the playoffs.
Yeah. Sad news from Warrington. Conor Wrench has retired. 23.
Wow.
So that is that's not good. Thanks to Tim for
didn't see that coming at all. You'd assume that would be injury related, wouldn't you?
Must be, yeah.
And I'm trying to check the other thing, but Twitter's Huddersfield Giants have signed a Super League winger, and England international. Who is it? Who could it be? Who
For next season.
I don't know. I'm going to tell you. It might be for now.
Tommy Makins.
It's not Tommy Makinson. I can tell you that if this loads up, and I assume it's the same person because Tim wouldn't have lied to us, she's been on the podcast. Oh, I've said she now. It's Kelsey Gentles, isn't it?
Well, we knew that.
Did we?
Well, we were told not to say anything.
Did she? Okay.
Good signing.
It's a huge scoop for the Giants, it says here. Huddersfield are a team that have always had potential and have been unlucky to be in the bottom four of the Women's Super League. When
Well, I
the
don't know if
prospects...
they've been unlucky.
Unlucky.
What's what she said here? Right now, they are on a journey to push into the top four, and I want to be part of that journey. So there you go.
Great.
She's a Giant now.
Good sign.
Maybe the fans can see them if they play them
Yeah.
at a different time.
Leeds should have got in there and signed her, Phil. You don't have any power there.
I don't have any power.
No.
Anything.
Do we need to say anything more about Wakefield and Wigan? Other than Wakefield were rubbish and Wigan were really good. Because Wakefield have now had 2 bad performances in a row, but we would have beaten Salford, and we had a week off. We're no good after weeks off.
Well,
so,
but that's...
What's Wakefield's running?
So Wakefield have had game, no game, no game, no game. It's not a surprise that they haven't got continuity.
At home to Huddersfield this week,
Yeah,
away
looking
to
forward to
Castellan, at home to Hull KR, and away to Salford. So, other than the Hull KR game, you'd expect them to win those, wouldn't you?
and we might have won that Salford game 48-0 by that point. Depends what HMRC have decided. When's that bridging run coming in?
What's the points differential between Hull and Wakefield then? All the points on the
They're
team?
on plus 98 and we're on plus 136.
And the Hull's one ahead on the league table.
Interesting run.
It is.
Yeah.
And
The
Hull have
race
got
for
Hull
six.
KR as well.
Final charge for the final playoff place to lose to whoever it is in the first round. So that's good.
But it doesn't matter.
No,
in
because
fact,
you're in
in some respects, it's better to finish the season honourably in 7th and not go into the playoff.
Well, that's what I was thinking that earlier on. If you Wakefield, you probably don't want
Game
to
against
get
Salford,
in the
you
playoff.
do your lap of honour
Yeah.
against Salford after
Yeah.
you scored
You've had a
good points.
fantastic season.
Next year, you say, right, well, we're in
Yeah.
the playoffs next
We
year.
already know that the players we've signed are taking us up another level.
So should Wakefield plan the lap of honour for the game against Hull Kingston Rovers? Just in case. Because Chris Martin, big fan of Hull KR.
Yeah, apparently.
Yeah.
Did you know he was in Hull? I didn't know if he did.
He said
I
they're
don't
the
know if
best
it was
rugby
true. He
club
said,
in the world or
I thought
something.
he said Kingston upon something.
Well,
Thames.
he's-
I don't think this
well-
is true, is it? Surely.
I don't know.
But he's called Kingston upon Hull. I don't know why
It
it's
is.
called Hull and Kingston upon Thames is called Kingston upon Thames and not Thames. I don't know. Never understood that. But they were there. People don't like Coldplay because they're boring. But
Chris Kendall went, and I saw some tweets about him being there. Oh. You can't go anywhere, can you?
no, I thought I saw one of those tweets. I thought, well, it might not be him. It could be a lookalike.
No, he did go.
big industry of Chris Kendall lookalike all over the place. They're everywhere. And Super League finally finished this week. Chris, I hope you're still listening. Huddersfield 23, Warrington 10.
That was a shock.
Well, I did turn over towards the end of the Wakefield game because I thought, well, I mean, I could have turned over after about 10 minutes. But no. Huddersfield 23, Warrington 10. Well, dearie me. At the end, when Warrington's players decided they weren't going to bother tackling anymore, and who scored the last try? Flanagan.
And arguing with the crowd.
Yeah, Flanagan just walked through the defence. As we said last week, and this was the thing about Casellas, wasn't it? We build them up and then we'll knock them down. But Flanagan had a good game again this week, so well done to him. And Ollie Russell, on loan from Wakefield, gets a drop goal. And Warrington. There's nothing more we can say about Warrington now. We haven't said already. This experiment has failed. This experiment with the coach has failed. Yes, they've got to 2 Challenge Cup finals, but they won 0 Challenge Cups. So you can't even say that. This experiment
But
has
he
failed.
wasn't brought in to win the Challenge Cup,
What was he brought in to do?
to capture the Holy Grail.
So instead of, and it's easy to come here and say, Leeds were in a state, whether they were or weren't, and they brought in an experienced coach from Australia who's been there, done that, and done this and that and the other, and knows how to manage a club and manage a team and get them into a better position. And Sam Burgess has done none of that.
Well, let's have it right, though. There has been, since 1998, 4 winners of the Grand Final, one of which is a team that's not even in the competition.
Until next
Yet.
year.
So to bring in a coach and expect that coach to turn them around in 12, 24 months and win the Grand Final, it's almost... And Catalan got there twice in 9 years under McNamara. it's a 5 to 10 year plan for me.
But
And I shouldn't say this
I
is
think
Sandberg's fault.
I
It's
think
not
that's the
Sandberg's.
thing.
Yeah.
The issues
Much
at
bigger
Warrington
than
are not
an individual.
their coach. Their coach could have been Darryl Powell, who is doing a job at Wakefield that would have been a comparable rebuilding job at Warrington that may well have got them to the point where they were sustainably winning things, but they don't want to go down that route. That for some reason the club wants to sign players that they think can win them a grand final.
Like Zane Musgrove and Dan Russell.
There's clearly an issue, and I didn't see this game. In fact, I think I was better off.
I watched the second half.
You're better off at Hunter.
It was terrible.
But the manner in which Warrington are conceding points late on is nothing to do with technical ability.
No, it's attitude.
Yes, it's solely attitude.
Course it
Now, whether Sam is the right person to get the right attitude out of them, that I don't know, because I think you have to see him in training and all that. But
On a bike in Vegas.
there is clearly talent on that field wearing a Warrington shirt that is better than it's playing.
Well, something's gone on behind the scenes, hasn't it?
Well, the Matt
Clearly.
Duffy affair doesn't.
Well, I don't know. I have no idea. I've not even heard any of the rumours. So.
Well, just the fact that he was dropped. They had
Yeah.
to. It got to the point where he was fit, but they chose not to play him. And he's clearly one of their strike players when he's on. The fact that George Williams was leaving, and he still may go to the NRL, but it's announced before the season's ending that he's negotiating to leave the club. Paul Vaughan would rather play at York. Not rather play. He's probably being offered a very good deal.
Yeah.
It's impossible for him to turn out. But again, he's not going from Warrington back to the NRL, or he's not going from Warrington to Wigan. He's going to York.
Well, he's not even going from Warrington to Castleford or something.
And that's
in the same division.
no disrespect to York, but
No.
at the moment he's joining a championship team, and he thinks that even if he's been given assurances that they're going to be in Super League, it's a better option than staying where he is. There are indications that all is not well in the Castle of Warrington. Now, I'm not sure you can put that on solely Sam Burgess's shoulders. He may not help,
No.
because you may need somebody who is nearer to being an experienced coach than a guy who didn't that long ago finish playing and likes to associate with his players.
I just think you've got to look at a medium to long term strategy.
But you should have done that medium to long term strategy 5 years ago.
Yeah, but you
And
bring
now
a
it would
coach
be
in and
bearing
sack him
fruit.
after less than a year, is it, Powell? So.
But
who's the director? Has they got a director of rugby there?
Gary Chambers is there.
Stuart Middleton, I think, is a director in charge of, and obviously Carl Fitzpatrick is the
If you look at
CEO.
Huddersfield, Warrington have won more games than Huddersfield this year, but they've got a rookie coach in charge. But their rookie coach has Andy Kelly stood next to him all the time. I don't know if it's a sounding board or what he is, but he's been there, done that, and done that.
There's Martin Gleeson. There's Gary Chambers, who took temporary charge. So he's bringing some. Their academy and their reserves are really good.
Yeah.
Their academy's top of the league, unbeaten this year. But there doesn't
Why is that
seem
not
to be
translating?
enough of a willingness. They'd rather go out and buy a player.
A big name from Australia who,
Or-
well, it's like signing Greg Inglis again, isn't it? Which is always going to be
but
doomed
also,
to fail.
don't want to single them out because it's no two people's issues. But Vaughan and Duffy came here because there were soiled goods in the NRL. If you look back as to why they were released, it's because there was an issue. If you're signing players like that, you are taking on that issue. You hope that you can allow it to simmer and perhaps stay under the surface for long enough, but you've signed an issue. And it's almost like it's coming home to... Mark Sneed ended up being a panic signing when Salford got into trouble.
Who was the player that then got banned last year and got banned again this year on a heavy ban?
Zane
he's gone.
Musgrove.
Zane Musgrove.
Yeah.
And then they had Maguire a few years ago. Which
But
was
again,
the same
they
thing.
know they need a half-back. Leon Hayes gets injured at the back end of last season. They don't sign Sneed until it's almost desperation. They go with Ollie Leyland, who is completely unproven at top-level Super League. You're putting a pressure on a kid there that he shouldn't have on him because the weight of expectation is you need to lead us to a championship.
I just think
It's like, who's making those decisions?
I don't think Sam Burgess's position is tenable anymore, personally, based partly on what he said halfway through the year.
But he's made it clear he wants to go back to the NRL.
Yeah.
He wanted the Perth job.
Yeah.
But who do they get to replace him? Because do you go back to another Powell type
think
or a Price type?
You
Or
just have
what
to
we
have
got?
somebody who is absolutely committed to junior development.
I think Steve McNamara is
He would make them more
probably the
competitive
obvious
straight
one.
off.
In how long he was at Catalan and you know he brought French players through.
Yeah.
In fairness, I think.
But also, he turned them into a very, very tough team.
That's what I
to
mean, and then he's had the background as an England coach, working at the RFL under their structures. For me, it would be a logical appointment.
Yeah.
But it has to be on the basis that actually we might take a step or two backward.
But it also
to go
needs to be
forwards.
given time to do
That's
the
what
job.
I mean.
So what he doesn't want is somebody upstairs, be that Simon Moran who signs the cheques or Simon Middleton who is involved perhaps in deciding which players are signed, Stuart Middleton, and say, right, I know you want to play him, I know you want to develop him, but you're playing him because we've signed him and he's a marquee player. It's like whoever they appoint has to be given licence to do the job.
And actually, accept that where are they at the moment in the table? Well, actually, they're only eighth to be fair. But
Yeah, but they're a long way off.
I know they are. But accept that they're probably not going to have the best season next season either. If they're going to, if that's what they do and rebuild again.
I don't think that anybody who did predictions at the beginning of this year had them outside the six.
Great.
It's a disastrous year.
They probably overperformed than most people's expectations last year.
They were at 40 minutes away from a grand final, but they've not kicked on. That 40 minutes away from a grand final should have been the stepping stone to them being involved in this race for 2, 3 and 4, and they've gone backwards.
And it can only be an attitude thing. When we saw them push Wigan at the other week at the Hallowell Jones, we saw them push Hull KR in the Challenge Cup final, but they can't get up for a game against Huddersfield, and that's been proven throughout the season. They don't get up for games against
Vegas was a
lower
real
sides.
eye opener. Round one, big game, big stage. This is where we want to be,
They got embarrassed.
and they were humiliated. And it's really has affected.
Sorry, Chris.
For Huddersfield, it's a great result, isn't it? Because you want to be ending the season with as many wins as you can grab and build for the future.
Yeah, and they know that they didn't play that well, but ultimately they got a result, didn't they?
They picked 5 drives and a kick, and it's been effective against Catalan at home and against Warrington at home. So it gives them something to build on.
Thursday night, Lee versus Castleford. That's an interesting Thursday night game.
Meh.
Yeah. Friday, Hull KR St Helens. That's the one everyone's going to watch.
That's a big game.
And not Warrington versus Salford. People aren't going to watch that.
No.
Saturday, 3 games all on at different times. How have we managed that?
So nothing on Sunday.
No. Which is odd, isn't it? Well, but we can all go watch all the games in League One. We can all go to Dewsbury Midlands instead.
I probably would actually.
Or Goal Newcastle.
Hull Leeds is a good game, isn't it?
Or Old
3 o'clock.
Newcastle. Yes.
That's a really good test of
That's
Leeds.
the biggest game of the 3, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's for the
Because
half
I
past
just
5.
think it's a great game because of who Hull are this year. That you cannot go there thinking, we're going to win this. Even though their home record isn't great this year. You're not on, they'll beat you.
2 grizzled old Aussie coaches battling it out in the Richie Myler derby. Followed by Wakefield versus Huddersfield. I don't think the press box is going to be as busy as this one as the last time I was there against Leeds. I don't think it is.
I'm thinking not.
I think I might have to come up with some questions to ask, which would be concerning. Wakefield to bounce back. Huddersfield dangerous, blah, blah, blah. Wakefield win by about 20. And Catalan's Wigan.
So what's the time? It's at Leeds is 3 o'clock.
Yeah, 5:30 for Wakefield.
Right.
It was supposed to be on the Sunday, so I don't know why it's moved to the Saturday, unless
And
there's a
what
game the
time's
week
the
after.
Catalan game?
8 o'clock. So you could watch them
So
all.
you can watch them all.
That's my game to watch, I think, Catalan.
So I don't know why it moved from the Sunday to the Saturday. But
Maybe because there's a Thursday game coming up
yeah,
the following week,
There's 2 games on Thursday next week, it says here. Huddersfield Leeds
which will be why Huddersfield will probably play in the
and Salford Castleford. Another thriller.
but it's a final charge.
But it's working.
Final charge. It is. Well, that's what we've got to do. That's why that's why we've employed these people who are good at marketing and stuff, rather than just sticking up a poster on A4 paper printed off a dodgy printer in your chippy.
And have you voted for the Rob Burrow documentary for the?
I haven't
TV?
actually. I should do though.
You should.
I've not watched it, and I should do that as well.
Well, it doesn't matter. Just vote. That's what these things are about. I mean, I hope it does really well, but National Television Awards are nonsense anyway. But I'm going to play the video again to play us out, so we'll do that in a minute. James, thank you for coming in.
You're welcome.
Enjoy Catalans at Wigan.
If only was going.
I thought you should.
Yeah, if only was
Thierry
going.
was on the touchline the other day.
Yeah, as a match commissioner, I think, yeah.
Surely you could get a gig down there before the end of the season.
Nice steak at Café Villon. Bien.
Bernard give you free sausages or whatever.
No, don't think give me free anything. Free.
Passage out of town.
Yeah.
Chris, what's the number for the Samaritans?
Not necessarily a safe passage.
Pointed out that bad. Just don't listen to. I've not caught up on what would Brian Bevan say from last week, so God knows what they're going to say about Huddersfield. Phil, we'll be back next Monday, won't we?
We will.
We will.
I feel, by the way, this table should be a spot the difference. So
next week something different will be on there.
Somebody should work out what's different about the table.
The flag somewhere.
And it'll have to be a new item.
Yes. Not that there's much room for another new
No.
item.
It's hiding behind Rob Barrow at the minute as the North Korea flag. So we'll be back next week to talk about all those games and hopefully not upset anyone, but we'll see how many people bring Phil over the next 6 days, and we'll be back with you on Monday. So go and vote for Rob Barrow. Here's how you can do so.
I dream of playing rugby league. As the father of 3 young children, I would never want any family to have to go through what my family and children have since my diagnosis. I hope I have left a mark on the disease. I hope it shows to live in the moment. I hope you find inspiration from the whole story. My final message to you is whatever your personal battle, be brave and face it. Every single day is precious. Don't waste a moment. In a world full of adversity, we must still dare to dream.